First of all, look, I think trust is a foundation for digital economy. And in order to, I agree, I think there's a loss of trust today, given incidents that have happened. In order to restore, I think it starts with transparency. I think being honest with customers, saying, this is what we're doing with the data or not doing with the data, and this is the value exchange you're having, I think that's the first and foremost step. And doing it in a very simpler way, not making it harder for consumers to understand what that means in terms of flow, right? So I think that's the first step, which is being transparent, explaining and giving the choice to customers, and it's going to take time, right? It's going to take time when the value exchange happens. So I would say that's kind of the baseline step. I think there's enough that's happened, right? From data breach to content that you see which is fake news to data that's been shared across without your consent. There's enough that's happened that said that. I mean, think about you or me as an individual customer. You triple check now, hey, are you using this for something? So part of it is not, there are many companies that have acted in good faith, right? We do everything with consent, so we make sure, but then if somebody else doesn't do that, that impacts everybody else in the same space. So in terms of responsibility, I think it's everyone's responsibility. Now, I'm glad the governments are stepping in to build some policies, but I think private and public sector have to work together in a very democratic way to build it. It's a use case by use case dependency, right? So when you think about it, it depends on what value you want. Now, at a customer level, it's hard to say you maintain your data because that removes the ease of use, right? Let's say you go to a hospital and you say, I'll maintain my record when I come in every time, access my data, and then when I leave, delete my data, right? I think that becomes a non-practical solution. So I think in many ways it's co-owned many times, or you're giving a consent saying, own my data, but only use it for the purpose I say that you should use it, right? So when we launched OneSearch, which I talked about earlier, that was different though. OneSearch, we clearly tell you, we're not doing anything with your data. You come and search once, we delete that query right away, we don't use it to target again, we don't sell it to anybody else, there's no cookie base, nothing, right? But that's a product stance we took. Now, I hope many more companies take that stance. We took that stance because we said, we own that data in that moment, and we should not use it for anything else. And I give you that guarantee when you come in and search, it's fully private. I'm not going to use it to do anything. I'm an optimist, and I believe AI will help creating more jobs because in the end, the human layer is not going away, right? You will have to now, probably the curve of upskilling is very high. People are going to panic around that. But actually, my view is AI is actually going to create a lot because you're going to solve problems which are next level, right? Today, we don't apply much human layer, right? We talk about in restaurant business. There are a lot of things AI will take care of, right? Reservations to data on what you like to order generally, a lot of that history. But in the end, hospitality is going to be one-to-one business. So people have to be trained in hospitality on that human touch, on that next sense in many ways. So my view is AI will actually create more jobs. Reskilling is going to be harder. Somebody has to come in, create a roadmap, and it's going to take a conscious effort to think 5-10 years ahead. And when you start thinking quarterly, it doesn't work that way. This is something you have to think long term and do that. So I'm a believer in AI. I think it will create more jobs. I think reskilling will need a lot more work, and every industry is going to be different in that. We're doing our own version of it. I talked about editorial to our customer support teams and all of that. That human touch is not going to go away.